What is up guys, Andy Forestine Runner here and welcome back to another training vlog. Today in summer in the UK, as always, we're going to be doing some more hill work, attacking those hills again, getting stronger on those hill repetitions. Then we're going to dive back home and talk all about the adaptations, the small subtle changes I'm making to allow myself to transition from road running in to this hillier trail stuff, a couple of things that I'm doing, and then finally finish off with a couple of recovery points that are really becoming key for me at the moment. So welcome back to another workout video, and today, as I said, you join me in the most miserable summer conditions. And today, you recognise this hill from last week's video, we're back for the last time on this hill in this first phase of training, because after this week I'm away Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday on a mini holiday, which is well needed, well deserved. And so I won't be running for 4 days, so I won't be running Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So I'll be back out Thursday. And then the following week, we're tapering for the Severn Bridge 10K. There's going to kind of be like a 2-week taper, basically. And then from there, we've got 6 or 5 weeks until race day. So then at that point, we'll be ramping up the gradient of the hills, the different types of training. There'll be less intervals and more up tempo, more 1 hour tempo work over rolling terrain, just to get used to running on similar course gradient hills to what we are doing at the moment. So a lot of the easier running I'm doing and the steadier running up and over some shorter, sharper, steeper hills, I'll be taking those on some of my workouts a little bit more intense. So today the goal is, we'll see how we get on 4 times 10 minutes up and down this hill. So before we've done 3 by 10 minutes and then 2 mile flat tempo at the end. Today, scrapping the 2 mile tempo, and we're doing 4 up and down this hill. We'll see how we get on. The legs are tired. They're okay, there's no injury worries, but they're tired. I'm noticing the difference between hill training and road training, hence why we're going to be talking about the adaptations and the recovery at the end of this video. So I'm going to crack on, because it is absolutely hammering it down in true British summer style. We're going to press on, get this thing done and dusted, see how we get on, see if we can make 4, if not 3, and then call it a day, and we'll get back in the dry and talk some more. Okay, super. So first rep, I've totally overcooked. 1.69 kilometers, 5:55 average pace for that rep. So yeah, that's the fastest rep I've ever done, and that's not sensible on rep 1 of 4. Coat's got to come off despite the rain. It's so humid and muggy. Oh. So there we go, we didn't overcook it overall in the end. Really happy with that. 4 by 10 minutes on, up and down the hill. So basically it's twice up and down the hill. The second one is a little bit less up and down the hill. But basically we clocked 1.69 kilometers for the first one, 1.72 for the second one, 1.74 for the third one, and 1.72 for the fourth one. All of those, well, the second, third and fourth one, I think were 5:50, 5:45 pace, and then 5:50 up and down the hill. I am absolutely over the moon. And then the first one I think was 5:55 or 5:58, something like that. So that is a job done. Apologies, the camera died. I knew it was going to happen. Anyway, I am drowned rat. 10 miles done and dusted. Let's get back. So there we go, another workout done and dusted in the bag. A wet and windy one, horrible stuff out there today. But I have to be honest with you, it's another one in the bag and another step closer to the mountain marathon on the 10th of October, nearly at the end of 3 weeks training, which is absolutely mad. So today what I want to do is share with you some strategies as to how I'm implementing this, going from completely flat road running into trail mountain training, or hill training, shall we say, because there's no trail mountains around here. That's the race we're going to be doing though. So some strategies as to how my training is changing, how I'm implementing it all, my recovery strategies, and then give you guys some tips on how you can implement it into your training. So let's start off with the adaptation and the recovery. So like anything for me, I like to take things on a slow process. I'm very much a gradual and cautious runner. I like to sit and hold at a mileage for a long period of time so that my body gets used to it. I've been sat at 60 miles now since we upped it from 50 to 55 back in March, since lockdown started. So pretty much we've been there for, was it 4 or 5 months now, and I have no intention of increasing that anytime soon. So we float between the 60 to 65 mile mark, and we're getting our body used to it and we're getting comfortable. And that was all road miles, and now we're changing things up. So how am I doing it, going from road miles into trail miles, and how am I cautiously approaching this project and trying to keep my body intact, and how I'm recovering with it all as well? So what I've done basically is I have focused on elevation rather than distance. That's the first thing I'll say if you're trying to adapt from roads to trails, or to hills I should say. Distance goes out the window. I was very much focused on trying to get in and around 60 miles a week. Thankfully I've still hit that in my weekly running so far, but I'm not focused on that. I'm focused on the elevation gain that I am getting each week. So I run between 2,000 and 3,500 elevation feet per week, normally in a standard road mile week. And that's just because of some of the trails and the road works, the road running that we do around here. So I aim straight away to go for 5,000 foot on the first week, which isn't actually that much more than what we have been doing in some of our bigger weeks. So all I did with that was pick some of my easy runs where I'd run flat and just find some rolling roads. And I experimented and see where that week would end up. So I had no actual fixed goal to say I want 5,000 foot this week. I just literally changed up my routes to some hillier, more rolling trail routes, and then found out that it left me around the 5,000 mark. So at that point I decided then to just gently increase it to 6,000 the week after, which spread over 5 runs is only an extra 200 foot per run more, which is nice and easy. And then again in this third week, heading towards and approaching, trying to get over 6,000, closer to 7,000 foot for this week. So I'm just gently increasing the vertical gain per week, but I'm not focusing on the distance. Last week's distance, I got 58 miles, so I went under the 60 mile mark for the first time in ages, but I could not give a monkeys because that's not what the focus is about at the moment. So just purely focusing on elevation gain and doing those small incremental increases in that. Now recovery, I'm just going to talk to you about a couple of things that I'm doing for recovery. So you guys know that I love the Unived recovery shake. I get this from xmiles.co.uk. They sell them, they're the UK stockist. I'm not sponsored by Unived, I'm just saying this stuff's amazing. I use this after pretty much every session I do, and long run. So I use it 3 times a week. I don't use it after easy runs, but I do use it after each session, especially now with the hills. My legs are feeling more tired after every single run, and I'm waking up each day realizing how tired that they are. So I'm just being a little bit extra cautious, a little bit careful, ramping up slowly and doing the right thing. A lot of stretching and foam rolling is going on as well, more so than I would normally do, morning and night now, just so that when I wake up I do a little bit of walking around, do a bit of a stretch, bit of a foam roll, get the day going, and do the same again in the evening or after my run, whenever that tends to be. So I'm just making sure I keep on top of that. And also I've now acquired some Unived compression socks. So this was gifted to me by Unived. They've produced these compression socks. They are really nice. I've never ever used compression gear in my life. So I've been using these now for over a week. I haven't said anything to anyone because I wanted to see the long-term effect rather than just coming out and giving you first impressions on compression gear, because I think you need to be patient with this sort of stuff and see how the body reacts to it. And so far so good. I've felt some benefits from using these things, keeping them on for about an hour to 2 hours after my harder sessions, and again they're working really well. They tend to help take some of the soreness away from my calves because my calves are being used a little bit more. with my with all the uphill running. So those are doing really well. So yeah, those are the kind of the strategies and the recovery tips that I'm doing at the moment. And finally, I just want to wrap it up with a couple of tips. I've done some hill running videos before, so I don't want to regurgitate old information, but a couple of things that have really come to fruition in this recent training block that I'm really trying to make a note of and push each time I go for a run. And that's number one, making sure I activate my glutes before I go for a run. I always like to feel now after I've done a hilly run that my glutes are aching when I get back. I know they've had a good workout. Activating my glutes is something I have never really done and focused on, but for over a month now, I've really focused on it. I've been doing activations for over a year, but I've really dialed in to focusing on activating my glutes. I found a great routine on Kinetic Revolution's YouTube channel, so that was fantastic, and I've been doing that now for over a month since we've been doing this training block, since before we're doing this training block, and I'm finding it's really helped with power on the hills. So that's the first thing that I would recommend doing. Make sure you activate those glutes, and if you come back with sore, throbbing glutes, you know they've had a good workout. And the second thing that I'm learning very quickly is I'm having to change up my stride a little bit. I need to make my stride a little bit shorter, a little bit choppier up those hills. Overstriding is a thing up hills, and it really came back to bite me in the first couple of weeks. So in this third week, I've been working on smaller, sharper steps, and I'm noticing a massive difference in, I'm not getting as breathless as I was going up some of the hills. I'm working them a little bit better. I seem to find that I was using a little bit too much energy when I was doing longer striding. And so with this shorter, choppier stride, especially up some of these steep climbs and some of the power hiking that I've been trying to practice in a couple of runs that I've been doing, it helps massively. So just have a think about that. If you have quite a long stride like me, then you might want to think about just dialing that stride back. Believe me, it makes running hills so much easier. So there we go, those are my kind of strategies, tips, recovery. I hope you've enjoyed today's workout video. Let me know in the comments below if you are thinking about implementing hills into your training. If you run hills as standard, do you eat hills for breakfast? I know I'm starting to enjoy it slowly. First couple of weeks are a bit of a grind getting into it, but we're there now and it is becoming a very enjoyable experience. So thank you so much for tuning in again today, guys, for the workout video. Appreciate it. If you enjoyed it, give it a like, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel for weekly running content, and as always, I'll see you on the next one. Until then.